The Rainbow Mystery by Jennifer Dusling, illustrated by Barry Gott.
Read by a Brian Hill mass reader. Can you figure out who this masked reader is?
Have you ever wanted to be a detective? It's not easy. I know. I tried to solve a mystery once, a rainbow mystery. I was in the family room with my friend Mike. Mike never says much. Mom says that's why I like him. I'm loud. Mike is quiet. I talk. He listens. We were making a fort from a big box. Mike had found the box by the house next door. He was cutting out a window. I was telling him what to do. That's when I saw them, hundreds of little rainbows. Mike, look, I yelled. Mike, look. He almost fell over. The little rainbow danced across the wall. Wow, was all he said. We watched the rainbows. They faded away. Then they were gone. We jumped up and ran outside. No rain, said Mike. I knew what he meant. Everyone knows rainbows comes when it rains, but it wasn't raining. How could there be a rainbow without rain? I started thinking. One time I saw a rainbow in a patch of oil, I said. It wasn't raining then. We looked. There was no patch of oil. Last summer I saw a rainbow in a sprinkler, I said. Was there a sprinkler by? No. I remembered another time I saw a rainbow. My friend Kelly had a glass teardrop necklace. It makes a rainbow when the light hits it. I didn't bother to look. I knew there was no glass teardrop necklace around. Mike and I sat down on the steps. It was late. The sun was low in the sky. We have to be detectives. We have to solve this mystery, I said. Mike nodded. Mike came over real early the next morning. We sat like statues in the fort. We waited and waited. No rainbows. The day after that, Mike came for lunch. We waited in the fort again. Still no rainbows. Monday was raining. Mike thought for sure we would see little rainbows, but the rainbows didn't come. On Tuesday, Kelly wore her teardrop necklace to school. I didn't think the necklace would help, but I didn't have any other clues. Can you make a rainbow? I asked her. I can try, Kelly said. She stood by the window and moved her necklace in the light. Look, I yelled. The teacher came over. He's a really nice guy. I showed him the rainbow. Terrific, Mr. Royal said. He called the other kids over. Kelly's necklace is like a prism, Mr. Royal told us. A prism is a special piece of clear glass or plastic. It separates lights into the 7 rainbow colors. A prism? Maybe a prism made the rainbows on the wall in my house. Mr. Royal didn't say anything else about prisms, but he told us all stuff about rainbows. I wrote it down. After school, I told Mike about the necklace. It's a clue, I said, but I don't know enough about prisms. Mike nodded. He got a look in his eye. I knew what he was going to say. The library, he said. So we went to the library and picked out a whole stack of books on rainbows and prisms. The librarian was new. She smiled and turned to the computer screen. Look, she said, we're neighbors. I'm Miss Reed. I bought the house next to yours. I moved in just last week. She seemed nice. I'm Annie. This is Mike, I said. Mike tugged on my sleeve. That meant hurry up. He wanted to work on the mystery. Come visit sometime, Miss Reed said. Okay, I told her. I flopped on the couch with a fat book. I started reading out loud. A rainbow is made when sunlight is bent by raindrops in the air. A prism bends sunlight too. Mike said nothing. Instead, he gasped. The rainbows were back. I got up. I touched them. The rainbows showed on my fingers. All 7 colors were there. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Then I thought of something. What time is it? I asked Mike. Mike looked at his watch. 5 o'clock? Aha, it's the same time as before. We didn't see the rainbows in the morning or at noon. We only saw them after school. Mike nodded. The sun, he said. Yes, I said. I remembered this poster at school. It must have to do with where the sun is. Like one person, we turned around and stared out the window. So where is it? Mike said. I don't know, I said. Let's go outside and look. We rushed outside. No wonder we couldn't see the sun from the family room. It was behind the house next door. The answer to our mystery is in that house, I said. Mike nodded. At exactly 4:30 the next day, we rang the doorbell of Mrs. Reed's house. Annie, Mike, she said, you came for a visit. Come in. We followed her inside. Before I could stop myself, the question burst out of me. Miss Reed, do you have a prism in your house? Miss Reed looked puzzled. A prism? No, I don't think so. I was sad to hear that, but I didn't give up. Miss Reed could have a prism and not know it. She gave us lemonade and cookies. Then she asked if we'd like a tour of the house. Yes, Mike and I said at the same instant. Miss Reed showed us the dining room. No prisms anywhere. Then we went into the living room. Still no prisms. We took the stairs to the second floor. The answer had to be up there. This is the music room, Miss Reed said. She opened the door. My favorite part is the chandelier. I just bought it. I had no idea what a chandelier was. Maybe the fancy light on the ceiling, but I didn't care. I was busy looking for prisms on the floor, in the cabinet, on the wall. Then Mike grabbed my arm. The sun had come out from behind a cloud. Light streamed into the room. It hit the glass chandelier, and rainbows danced on the wall next to the window, just like in my family room. I ran to the window. Yes, I can see my house, and I can see into the family room. I can see the rainbows on the wall, too. For once, I had nothing to say, but Mike did. The glass chandelier is like a bunch of prisms, he yelled. I stared at him. It was the longest sentence I've ever heard him say. What do you mean? Miss Reed asked. I told her the whole story about the rainbows and Kelly's necklace and the library books. I even told her about making the forts from the big box Mike found outside. A big box? Miss Reed asked. Was it by my house? Yes, I said. The chandelier came in that box, she said. I looked at Mike. Mike looked at me. The box, the biggest clue of all, was in my house the whole time. Some detectives we were.